Hey guys, and welcome back to Chatting Breeze. Today I am going to be talking about how to make a decision as to how, once you've got your product and you've done your marketing and stuff like that, you have that all sorted, how to know which platform is the best platform for you to sell on. Because there are so many different ways that you can sell. You can sell by doing it in-house, which is basically you create your website, you package your product, you send it out, you deal with returns, you deal with all of that kind of stuff. Or you have other sites that you can sell on. So you have Amazon, you have eBay, you have Etsy. There's so many different platforms that you can also sell your products on. And each product does a different, or serves a different purpose, should I say. So I wrote down what I thought about when I was trying to decide as to what platform or the best way to sell my product and what I needed or what I wanted for my product and for the customer. So I initially was checking out Amazon as a platform to sell on, but for me personally, Amazon, although it had its pros, which was they store your stock for you, so you don't have to worry about where you're going to store everything or anything. So they have a warehouse for that. They have people who will obviously ship your product off, so it gets wrapped up by them. They deal with every part of that. If there's a return, they deal with the return, so they take your product back in-house. They also update you as to when your stock's going down, so if you need to put more shipment in there. But obviously that comes at a price. It comes at a price of needing to pay for your storage, and also of course every item or unit that you sell, you have to pay a certain amount of that to go to Amazon, because they take some of that for obvious reasons. So there was that. And for me personally, when I was weighing up Amazon, I was thinking, okay, well, people trust Amazon. It's been around for ages now, and people have had enough experience on it. So if you, for instance, have new customers coming through, then they automatically have a trust factor. You don't have to win their trust, because Amazon has already created its brand, which is big enough for people to trust in it. So I thought, okay, well, that's a plus. But at the same time, I kind of was just a little bit wary for me, because starting off small, if anyone has any issues with a garment, so it doesn't fit them correctly, or they're just not happy with it, or it's taken longer to get to them than maybe they wanted, or just anything, I have no control over it. I have no control of being able to go to that customer directly and say, think of things, or be able to have communication with them as to how to resolve and make it better for them, so they carry on having they have a great experience. I know if I've purchased something and I don't particularly like it, but I have a good experience with the refund and it goes smoothly and that's all fine, then I'm still going to go back to that site and rebuy off of the site. I don't need to worry about because I think, okay, well, I had a good experience with them returning it and I got my money back, so it's all fine and dandy. I would buy off of them again. And of course, like, Amazon would be able to do that, but I just think there's something for me and my product. That was something that I was really concerned about, not being able to have the ability and the power to make something right for my consumer, to, even if I have to go to their door and apologize and give them another product, then I would do that for my consumer, because especially at the beginning, it's so important that people have a really great experience with your brand. Because that's going to be remembered, and they will tell their friends and they will tell their family their experience, and that will then dictate whether or not their family or their friends would purchase from you or not. So that was a massive reason. And when I was doing my sums, for me, Amazon was just going to take too much of a chunk of my profit margins. So for me, I just put that to one side with Amazon. And then I looked at like eBay and stuff like that. But for me, eBay, I was going to obviously have to ship the items myself. I was going to have to deal with any returns and stuff like that, which is all fine. It was fine. I was going to have to store them. Then I thought, why am I going to give eBay a chunk? Obviously because, you know, I'm using their site, of course, but again, when I was looking at profit margins and stuff, it just didn't equal up to what I needed, because on the eBay site, I was still going to need to market my material, and I wanted, when I'm saying my material, I mean my garment, my t-shirts, and so I wanted something that could link people back. I wanted them to be able to see photos of it, but not just photos, but video, and really get a sense of the brand and what it is that the brand represents, which I just felt for me, I wasn't able to put that on eBay and really have people understand what it is that they were purchasing and what it is that the brand is all about. So I decided not to go down that route, and it's kind of similar for Etsy and any of those. And for Etsy, I felt that my garment just didn't fit in very well with what Etsy is about. I feel like Etsy targets more people who want, you know, things made on a one-off kind of situation. So people obviously are making things at home and they're amazing and they sell them on Etsy and things like that, but it's not kind of produced in a factory and you're selling it. So you've created the idea of the garment and everything else, and you've designed the garment, but obviously a manufacturer has put the garment together. It's more somebody being at home and doing it all themselves. So I just thought for myself that having my own website was going to be the best fit, was going to be the best way of being able to have everything in-house, be able to keep control of my relationship with the customers, be able to show what the brand is about, have brand recognition, have a good coherent kind of theme from my website to all my social media pages and things like that, so you know that when you're landing on a Chatting Breeze page of any kind, it links back and it ties in really nicely to everything. And also, obviously there's just so many different platforms that you can choose from, and I chose to go with Shopify because number one, of the budget and the cost of Shopify fitted for myself well. You're able to get your website, you can create your own website in it as well, so that was great. You can up the amount of what package you get depending on how many people you have coming to your site, so you don't have to just stay, well, you can start with the basic package, which is what I'm doing, and then you can upgrade yourself if your website, what you're doing is selling well. So for myself, I just felt that this was the best way to go about it. And I would suggest you guys, when you do look at the platform of what you want to sell on, you take into consideration how much time you have on your hands, i.e. do you have time to go through emails, do you have time to ship things out, do you have time to package things, do you have time to deal with, you know, any, questions or anything, because that's all going to happen if you do it in-house and you just create your website and you're doing everything yourself. Or do you have friends and family who can help you out with these kind of things? So you really need to think about that. You need to think about storage. Where are you going to store all these items? If you've got something which is quite big and bulky, do you have the room to store it? Because if you don't, then obviously that's issues, or it's going to create issues, sorry. And if you don't as well, and you think, oh, okay, well, I'll rent a space out, actually have a look at how much lockups cost, because you can get great deals for 3 months, which I looked into as well. And you can get lockups for a decent price, but then after the 3 months of kind of or the 3 months should I say, of the deal that they have going on, you then have to pay normal price. Or you would have to potentially, little trick of the trade, to take another unit out in someone else's name, but then you've got the aggravation of having to move everything from your unit to another unit, to one of the other units that somebody else has taken out for you, if you want to prolong it. And I just think for the long run, if you were going to have this for like a year or so, or however long it takes for you to sell your units, how easy it is for you to do it. I mean, it's a part of the hustle, so you can see it like that, but you just need to think about these things and you need to weigh them up. And then you need to weigh up, you have to remember that if you are going to another platform like Amazon, like eBay, like any of the other ones, they will charge you for the cost of this. So have a look as well at your budget, have a look at how much you can afford to lose off of how many units you're selling, or off of each unit. Does that work for you? Does what they give you work in comparison to how much you then have to spend with them, or give them? So there's quite a lot that you really need to sit down and think about, break down cost, and really get your business hat on. Think about the productivity of it, think about the cost of it, think about the ease of it, think about how much time you have on your hands. All these kind of things is something that is either going to create extra issues for you or not. And you do have to remember that sometimes in a lot of these situations, time, I want to say time is money, but it's not even time, it's money. You spend on one thing, if you realize that doesn't work, then you have to spend on another thing and stuff like that. So being able to obviously get it right first time in this kind of situation is quite handy if you can forward plan, and if you can preempt what you think that you're going to need, or what you think your customer needs, and how you think it's best to be able to deliver that. So guys, I think I've given you a little bit to think about, I hope. And hopefully you can really sit down and crunch some numbers and figure out what is best for you and what you're selling. So if you do decide to go to another platform to sell your items, make sure you're choosing the right platform. Have a look at what people are selling on those platforms, what's selling best on those platforms. If you're going to a platform and what's selling best is kitchenware and electronics and all that kind of stuff, probably not great if you want to start selling clothing, because that's not where people are going to purchase those items. So you really need to think about that as well. Really think about, where are people going? What are the most popular sites that people are buying the item that I'm trying to sell on which site? All right guys, I hope that's been helpful, and I will speak to you next week. Bye.